All right, you're welcome back. And the conversation has been about the worsening security situation, especially what was experienced in Goza. Goza is in Borno State, the northeastern part of the country. At at Susa bomber, detonated IEDs and killed more than 30 people, 32, with scores injured, as of last night, and these are what you're following. And we have been speaking with Dr. CHUKS. He's an analyst, security practitioner. Doctor, thank you for staying with us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Femi.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say, 32 people reported dead, scores injured. We're praying for, quick recovery for those that are injured at the moment. And I was making an example that 2012, 13, 14, when the issues of suicide bombing, was very rampant, we were told about things to look out for, being security conscious. We have said it severally. Security is people's business. As a practitioner, as a consultant, what are those things? Because I remember we were told if you see men that will not normally scrape their heads, and all of a sudden they are scraping their heads, or they've scraped their heads, and they are sweating, even when there is no reason for people to sweat, or they are having backpacks. These are some of the things to look out for. Are those indices still correct? And what are other things that people should look out for now that this is happening?
Well, to start with, the indices then were initially correct, but it's not 100% any longer. These hoodlums know what you are looking out for, so they disguise themselves in other ways and manners. Yes, it was alluded then for women with the hijab on, you really cannot tell who they are, you can't identify them. They said when they're wearing dark sunglasses, and what they put on, you cannot know what's wrapped around their body. Islam, per se, since it's a practicing religion, will not allow you search a woman, so you do not know what she's carrying. Then the regular dressing of a guy from the north, they don't wear tight-fitted clothes, they wear loose clothes, so you cannot really tell or say what is wrapped around the person's waist or not. Now, the issue of sweating, yes, you will sweat if you are scared. But if you're not scared and you're determined, you will not sweat. But if you're scared, you were forced into it, you were blackmailed into it, yes, psychologically, you're going to start sweating. Beads of sweat will be running down your face. But like I said, the indices of what they told us before, or what we knew as practitioners before, were correct, but does not really hold 100%. Now, we have people based on training have been told how to beat these things. They'll be well dressed. They could be on the queue, on the ATM queue, waiting to use the ATM with a long queue there, so one needs to be careful. How many people are you going to scan to use the ATM? That's one. Two, like you said, what happened there in Goza then, at the very funeral service there, you're not going to start scanning people to enter a place where people are meant to be mourning for burial. But I do know at one point in time, about 15 years ago, 20 years ago in Abuja, they are there at the church, there in Abuja Central Church. You cannot go in down there even for a burial. Everybody's frisked. Even the casket is frisked. So I do not know if we're going back to that era, like you rightly said, where security is going to be topmost. But I want a situation where the government of Borno State will come in to say enough is enough, including leaders, not just in the north, but all over Nigeria. Because if they can do it in state A, it's going to go to state B. And that's where my fear is. We all need to sit up. Kidnapping has now come down to the south, west, including Lagos now. It's on the increase. Excuse me. So we all need to sit up to say, yes, enough is enough. Because these things are going on. I will not say they have sponsors, per se, I will not say so, but it's going unabated. We need to have legislation that is going to bring this thing to a halt. We shouldn't waste taxpayers' money. Once you are caught involved in it, tie to the stakes, we go back to the barbaric mode, public execution. And this execution will take place in your local government, if possible, in your hometown, where you are known. So when they see Lagbaja is gone, or Keke is gone, or Musa is gone, they will think twice about the rest of the other children in the family for such things. Let it bring disgrace, disrepute to the family. That, to me, is the issue. We cannot solve it in a one fix it all that way, but we have multiple dimensions into coming to solving these problems. That's my own take on it.
Oh, all right. I think I've just deducted something now, because you talked about issue of clothing, and you said, especially for the northern women who will naturally, due to tradition and religion, put on hijab. So whatever is under hijab, one might not know. And that doesn't
definitely will not know.
Doesn't necessarily mean everybody putting on an hijab is a suspect, because I think this is one of the aims of these criminals, to cause confusion among the people, and maybe that explains the choice of having women carry out that dastardly act. Now, moving on, I asked you something the other time. Let me ask again. This is happening in Goza. And you know what Borno State used to be? Many persons are still in IDP camps, rotting away in that particular place. We're experiencing this again. Now, at that time, it was just only Borno. There was Yobe, there was Adamawa, almost all the northeastern states. Now, you first start to the northwestern states, Kaduna, Katsina, and the rest of them. If you have opportunity to be talking to state governors, possibly at the NGF forum, what will you be telling them? Are these signs of things to come? We are not trying to create or sell panic, but should they be worried? What will you be telling them? I didn't mean you are having a meeting, serious one with governors forum.
First and foremost, I will tell them to snap up from their sleep or slumber, and it's high time they face up with their responsibilities. The truth of the matter, most of our governors think it's still a tea party. They are yet to wake up to their responsibilities, and this happens at all levels, without exception, from the local government to the state to the federal. We need to snap out, call a spade and not a shovel. If I had the opportunity of addressing them, first and foremost, they must each state must set up a security task force, which is different from the police, from the army and all that, and they will have intelligence there, team up, and should be well funded, both from the private sector and the public sector, and they should go stream out there in ensuring that security is meant for everybody. So there will be a people's participation in it, the legislature to be involved, and most importantly, the judiciary should come into it. There's nothing like bending the rules to accept, to, give a soft landing for certain people. No. Give it, as it were, to whoever it is, and of course, on whose toes or whose ox is being ground. That is it. No exceptions. No sacred cows. We know who these people are. Yeah. You can get to them. Like I said at the beginning of the program, these people are no spirits, these hoodlums. They live with and amongst us. Let's get them before they get us. And that's it.
All right. Another dimension to this was a few days ago as well. This week has been quite an eventful one. A large cache of ammunition were intercepted by the customs to the tune of 4 billion naira. That was, it was quite a lot. We will get to display it for our people to see. It was, and then you're wondering, because we learned it was intercepted from a 40-foot container. And then you are wondering, is this Gaza? Is this a situation between Ukraine and Russia? What is going on? Who are these people? It's good that we have intercepted it. And we are not talking about just mere, just handguns. You're talking about sophisticated weapons. Who are they? What is it meant for? I was having a chat earlier before we come and say nobody uses gun at a picnic. You don't use it in a swimming pool. You don't use it at a recreation club. It's meant to harm people. Why are we having these? We are battling with the situation of the proliferation of small arms and the rest, AK-47s in the wrong hands, and then we are having a 4 billion naira worth of ammunition. Just yesterday, another interception was done. Who is after Nigeria? What is going on, Doctor?
Well, Femi, you said it, and this is where I'm very, very concerned. How I wish we started this at the beginning of the program. To start with, if you are flying out of this country by air, apart from you getting a visa from the embassy of the country you intend to go to, the checks and everything, at the airport, the liner, the airline carrying you will still check your passport and your visa. Why? Because the onus will be on them transporting you to your final destination. If you're wrong or if anything goes wrong, they hold the airline vicariously for having brought in an imposter or someone who is trying to come into that country. So the airline does not want to have any disputes, does not want to have anything that will tarnish its image or its operations. So they do everything. I'm coming down some with FEMI. Now, if I were the customs, before they start talking all this long story, it shows inefficiency. The custom guys should have impounded the ship that brought that container, seized the ship, find out where it came from. The ship itself will fall vicariously on the agent who loaded that container at his port before it departed coming to Nigeria. They'll trace it and get it. That's one. Two, Mr. President, through the National Security Advisor, should invite all country ambassadors for the emergency meeting. That any influx of arms coming into Nigeria in such quantum If it's not an individual thing, it's not quantum. That country will be dislisted from Nigeria, will blacklisted. And we then know that country has something against us. Because I don't know why a country will allow such a thing to come in from its own country, coming to Nigeria without telling tales. If they had informed us from the Nigerian government, look, oh, somebody's putting a container load of a cache of firearms coming to Nigeria. We do not know why. It's business for us anyway, but we don't know. Please investigate the purpose of why this is coming. Then we know that country, play fair. And as this told us that this and this is coming, so we intercept it. But somebody somehow is involved. Now, we do know some nations are trying to bring and to foment problems in Nigeria. We do not know exactly why or whatever is going on, but I think, we all know where there's war is business. Sales of arms is the biggest market you can think of. They try to foment trouble. Nigeria has oil. We have so much, riches and things like that. And yet, in stupidity, we play along with these guys. We need to tighten the borders. All the security agencies must come together, agree together, work in a beautiful synergy to ensure we protect Nigeria from any form of external aggression and interest whatsoever. Whoever is representing interest of certain persons outside Nigeria, in Nigeria, such persons should be fished out. We have the agencies, FEMI, for crying out loud. Yeah. We have it gone down. But like I said, we need to encourage them to do what they are meant to do by way of work. And when they get this information, we use this information to the best use of Nigeria as a nation and not for the individuals in particular.
All right. And, I'm seeing, I think maybe, our viewers can see the images of these arms and ammunition, new ones. And one will be asking, just like I asked, to what end this volume, of these assorted pump action rifles and the rest of them, and these are the issues. We learned one person has been arrested, and many persons are asking, it's not just about the person who has the manifest or driving these things or who did declaring. Maybe there are big names because it takes a money bag or a cartel to run this kind of a volume, of arms and ammunition. And then we learned the Agency Against Small Arms and Proliferation of Arms came out and, while the customs handed over this ammunition to them, we learned they said they are going to destroy the arms. And one person, and I'm forced to ask, why destroy it? Shouldn't this be, part of the things that will be confiscated for the state use, for Nigerian use? Are there things that we can do with these? Why destroy it as well? Is that a standard protocol? And you remember, theft, all theft on the ICs. We've seen situations in which any vessel that has been, gotten hold of, apprehended, you see the Nigerian Navy people setting it ablaze, and many persons are wondering, you're flaring oil. Can't we do something with this vessel? Can't we do something with this oil? The same thing is happening now. The agency in charge are saying they are going to destroy it. A $4 billion worth of arms and ammunition. Is that standard procedure? Let me ask.
Well, I do not know what the framework which set them up will says about that. But I know if there's anything prohibited which is brought in, it's usually destroyed, just like what the custom does. But you could not say somebody brought in a shipload of rice and did not pay custom duty, smuggled in. The rice is coming in, fit for human consumption. You say you want to burn it, destroy it, and all that. No, you'd be mad to do such a thing. Sell it at a giveaway price. Spread it all over the country, subsidize it and let people eat and go on. But the importer suffers that loss. So the same thing applies to these arms. There are so many agencies in Nigeria that don't have arms, not enough arms. So when you have such a thing there, you go back again to the blackboard, sit down, divide it out and share it off. But make sure the serial numbers are there and these arms are traceable. But what I'm saying here in a nutshell is that before they came into the country, the person who is importing it, the shipper, everybody, these things are traceable. We'll get to know who it is. Like you rightly said, it's worth billions. An individual like you and I cannot bring this in. It means it's somebody or a cartel of people who are bringing this in, so they are traceable. You go down to the shops, the manufacturers, they will tell you who imported it. They will tell you who paid for it. You can trace it because such payments are not paid with cash. So you can trace that kind of deals and bring it up. Except there are arms that were picked up along the road, like you say, from Gaza, from dead soldiers and things like that. Well, they're all brand new. The manufacturers would have gotten that from somebody who placed an order for it.
All right, Dr. Maha, over the years, we have seen situations like this, and the importers are always faceless, nameless. Even when we talk about the crude theft on the seas, they are always nameless and faceless. Why is it that the Nigerian system has refused to actually prosecute these, I don't want to use the word criminals, but these suspects? Because this arms worth billions of naira into the country, we know the kind of harm it's going to do in our country, especially when it is in the wrong hands. Why is it that the Nigerian system have over the years refused to prosecute or investigate deeper these syndicates that you talk about?
Well, the answer is well known to you, including to our listening audience. It's not the first time the customs are getting intercepted such containers. Not too long ago, it happened. The one of uniforms came. All these things die. The case will die off, fizzle off. Nobody hears anything about it. Why? The Nigerian factor. And that's why I say this thing stems from the top to the bottom until we are serious concerning security. Then we can come up with that. But you see, if I use the word if I, in my personal opinion, if I were the IG, I will draw policemen from every political person. By the time the political officers are holders are out of it, apart from the president, the governor, they will all sit up. They will all sit up to ensure we have security in this country.
Into office has always been saying that.
Yeah, that's why I said if that happens, everybody will sit up. But because they have their oddlies, they have the security persons in their houses that go around with their wives, their children, their girlfriends, and all that. They don't bother what happens to you and I along the road. And that's the thing. But if you ask me again too, government should wake up to say, okay, fine. Why are these people importing arms? Do they need the arms? Fine. But we know that any gun that is automated is highly prohibited. If you want a shotgun, fine. Get it licensed. The Commissioner of Police can track you, trace you. It must be computerized. The license for firearms must be computerized. And then if you catch anybody without a license for a particular arm that he or she may be carrying, then that person is prosecuted. Immediately. You don't waste time. There's nothing like, oh, the case has been adjourned. No. Straight and forward. And that should be done.
All right, but how then do people, citizens like you and I, actually get convinced that the government of the day is serious about protecting our lives, protecting our property, when we have these situations happen again and again, and we do not see any serious move by those at the end of affairs that they really want to protect their citizens? But we see every now and then they release statements that, yes, we are there to protect you. They release statements, condolence statements, and all of that. But how can we as citizens believe our leaders when they say truly that they are protecting us or they are out to protect us?
Now, let's put it this way. A time will come where you can wake up any time of the day, walk into a police station without any fear. The station gate is open for you. Walk in, you feel comfortable, you feel safe and secure. But for now, even the policemen themselves are even scared. Go to a police station by 12 o'clock, they've locked their gates. Unless you have the DPO's number or the commissioner's number or the area commander's number, you can get it to call an SOS call. Now, they themselves need security. So what am I talking about? We need to. The policemen are not enough in Nigeria. They're not enough because they're highly depleted. By the time the oil companies take them, the banks take them, the telecoms take them, the politicians take almost 1/3 of all the policemen within the country. The embassies take them. There's no policeman for you and I left. Apart from the fact there's still a far cry of United Nations recommendation of 1 to 200. Now, let's take on the other security agencies. They're not there. They're not enough. Are we going to rely on the military? That's not the core function of the military. The core function of the military is to protect us from external aggression, not internal. When we get to misuse the military now for domestic issues, when the big D comes now, what happens to the military? So that's the issue. We need to come down, to sit down to say this and this and that. Now, if you want security as a politician, you want security as a big man, don't go to the police. Go to a private security company. Go and get it.
All right.
Let the police be and let them do what they are meant to do.
Right.
Not to provide oddly jobs.
Yeah.
When you see a policeman carrying somebody's briefcase, handbag, or carrying a plate of food, like we saw one time that went on the social media.
All right.
Or carrying umbrellas.
Yeah. I think for the want of time, I think this will be a good place to put it. It's always an exciting time, not excited because of the security situation or insecurity, but, your concise analysis on matters of the state like this. I want to sincerely thank you for being part of the program. And we hope we won't get to have you again to discuss this kind of a situation again, but to talk about the betterment of this nation called Nigeria. Dr. CHUKS is a security expert and, of course, an analyst. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Femi. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you so much for your time.
And just like we said, we hope sincerely we won't get to call him back to come and give us analysis on another, dastardly act. We hope this is nipped in the bud, and our politicians, leaders, everybody should get serious instead of just, condolence visits and grammars and the rest, and then the same thing happens again. We hope not. May Nigeria prosper. Femi Ojo is my name. We come back for the TGF edition, God willing, tomorrow evening.
Yes, we have to go. And just before we go, what stood out for me from what Dr. Maha said was when he said that even the police are scared themselves. They also need security, you understand? And it's also, extends to when we say even the IBDs or the distribution companies sometimes use generators. They do not even have the electricity they want to distribute to you.
I want to agree that the policemen sometimes, barracks, when we've seen situations that if robberies, especially bank robberies, it has happened severally, once will happen in a town, those criminals will first go to the police stations, go and run them down simultaneously before they do whatever they're doing.
So that speaks to the fact that we need more security agencies. The state and the government of the day needs to do the needful so that the Nigeria project can work. And it will work. It must work in our own time. My name is EVELYN. Stay tuned for Spring Trends coming right after this broadcast.